It's 10 a.m. and I'm drunk. Do you know what that means? That I'm a raging alcoholic with undiagnosed depression? Yeah! It's St. Patrick's Day!
I come celebrate. McDonald's is serving up the one and only Shamrock Shake.
Whoops! Wrong show. Now, I like to imbibe, in moderation, as much as the next guy. St. Patrick's is the perfect day to culturally appropriate for this. But I've always wondered, who was that St. Patrick's guy? Did he really fight off the snakes? Was green his favorite color? Did he introduce booze to the Irish? Now, I did some of my own research and I found some interesting, curious, and downright shocking facts that you didn't know about St. Patrick. As most of us know, St. Patrick wasn't actually born in Ireland. Most scholars believe he was born in the latter half of the 4th century AD in Roman Britain, though some schools of thought place his birth in what is now Scotland. Now, when St. Patrick was the ripe old age of 16, he was kidnapped by pirates and then sold into slavery in Ireland. This, of course, is how most teenagers had decided to spend their time back in the day. St. Patrick then spent the next 6 years as a slave, then discovered God, then he came back to Britain, he killed a boar that converted some people, and after that, once he was finally free, he spent his freedom studying Christianity in Gaul, or modern-day France. Not only did he study Christianity, but he studied archaeology, which would later lead to his hatred of snakes. St. Patrick became such a world-renowned scholar that Pope Celestine I is quoted as saying, "That Patrick guy is a pretty good student. We could send him to Ireland and pay for his travels, I guess." This worked out perfectly for St. Patrick, who told the Pope that Ireland is full of snakes that need to be whacked. Now, the church thought he was talking about pagans, so they eagerly complied. In his bestseller, The Confessio, St. Patrick said he was able to convert Ireland because he was so frank and because everyone saw him as a straight shooter. I asked them, what is the worst thing about living in Ireland? They said the snakes and the snake bites. So I inquired further, why are you putting up with all these snakes? You got a fetish or something? They said, no, we're pagans. I told them, not anymore, you ain't. The Holy Spirit helped me get rid of those snakes and ensure they were sleeping with the fishes. It was this frankness that allowed St. Patrick to not only convert all of Ireland, but to also reinforce the faith of Catholics all around the world. People kept asking me, I don't get it. How can the Father, Son, Holy Spirit be the same thing and different things? I told them, what are you, an idiot? Look at this shamrock, 3 things but one thing. Yes, I'm sure all of you already know all these tales and stories associated with St. Patrick. Or to speak more clearly, associated with one St. Patrick. Many scholars and academics believe that at least 2 St. Patricks existed in the 4th and 5th century AD. This second St. Patrick was known as Palladius, a cybernetic organism from the future, specifically 2536 AD, sent back in time by the corporate socialist oligarchs to eradicate Catholicism from the European continent. The oligarchs carefully planned for every potential outcome and roadblock, except for one, Palladius having a soul. It is uncertain what event caused Palladius to reprogram himself and rediscover his soul, but what is certain is that he followed a very similar path as St. Patrick. Quantum physicists and astral projectionists believe that this entanglement of Patrick and Palladius during the 4th and 5th century AD caused that era to become a cosmic hotspot of paranormal activity, and also helps explain the rise and fall of snakes. As I mentioned earlier, St. Patrick had an almost symbiotic relationship with snakes, insofar as he hated them with a passion and would have drowned them even if he hadn't converted Ireland. Yet many are now proposing that all this is the stuff of myth and legends, and that Ireland never had snakes to begin with. However, the evidence suggests that post-glacial Ireland never had snakes. At no time has there ever been any suggestion of snakes in Ireland. So there was nothing for St. Patrick to banish. As my wife always says, the devil is in the details. She's a robot. First, I would hope that the keeper of natural history at the National Museum would be well versed in the fact that snakes don't have skeletons. Snakes are invertebrates, which means that their vertebrates are made of innards. You ever see bone in a snake? Let me guess. You're gonna say their teeth. No! Their teeth are made of hardened meat. That's why they're carnivorous, not bonivorous. And that's why snakes don't leave a fossil record. There's no fossil to be made if they don't have any bones. Second, it seems like these scientists have forgot about Google. Specifically Google image search, which can be used for more than looking up St. Patrick's Day pictures. If you do a quick search using keywords Ireland and snakes, tons of images pop up. How do you explain that if there were never any snakes in Ireland? Did the pro snake people put all these pictures here? Give me a break. But the most important point is the first line. All evidence suggests that post-glacial Ireland didn't have snakes. Let me repeat that. And not because I've run out of ideas and I need to pad out this video, but because it's really important. All evidence suggests that post-glacial Ireland did not have
sexual relations with that woman.
Snakes. There is new evidence from leading quantum physicists that points to the fact that there may have been two Irelands, one with snakes and one without, and that an event during the late 4th century and early 5th century AD caused the timelines to merge, leading to inconsistencies in our history. This can mean only one thing. Palladius. He is key to all of this. The time disruption he caused by traveling back in time and defying the corporate socialist oligarchs caused a ripple not only in our history, but in nature itself. Now, this final fact on St. Patrick, it's a doozy, but I have to share it with you. The original color associated with St. Patrick was blue, not green. He's shown in a lot of early artwork in various blue vestments. Well, I hope you learned something, because I didn't. If you did learn something, make sure you hit the like button. If you didn't learn anything, make sure to subscribe. If you want to see more, share this video with your friends, hit that share button. And of course, make sure you have a happy St. Patrick's Day. La, 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 la. And remember, as St. Patrick's taught us, you're so money and you don't even know it, baby.